All right. Before we start some more Kingdom of Heaven, I wanted to show you a little bit of what I was talking about on this. My tournament pet peeves. Uh, what I like to do when you're playing this game, I don't know if I can do it here now. Let me see here. Before I move, I'll put on what's called movement trail, and that way, when I do my move, say I was going to move him, and I got four these here spots, I think kind of we'll say it kind of is one, two, two, three. That's the way I like to do it. Um, just count out your moves. Instead, you know, when I was playing this game, it was almost like you ever if you I don't know if you ever had somebody remotely control your computer, but 1 minute, 1 minute's like this. The next second it's like this, and all you're seeing is these guys just going moving around, going like this. This guy here, like this, and they're just moving off left and right, and you're trying to keep up with them, but because one guy might be moving up here, the next he'll go down here, but yeah, and just take your time, get the little plot trail thing going on here, if I could see it. Movement trail, yeah. Count them out. One, two. Take your time. There's no rush. It was like I said. These things were whizzing around so fast, I couldn't find out what was what, and who knows how they moved. A couple times, I caught him on it and said, "Hey, I don't think you can move that far." You think to yourself, "Man, has this guy been doing it right the whole time?" So you didn't want to make it stink. Another thing was over here. The Soviet player can only bring in, and the German player brings in his reinforcements along the western edge, along this black, if he can trace a line without being in zones of control, typical supply route type deals. But so somehow, and that was just it, these units move around so fast. Hold on a second. These units move around so fast, next thing you know, you blink your eyes, and this guy's got these units all around here like this. I don't know how he got there. I didn't see it actually because I was trying to bring a unit on when it came to replacements, and I'm like, wait, hold on. See how his zones of control are blocking all these spots along here? So literally, when it came time for my replacements, I was looking at it going, okay, well, it's time for my replacements. I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't bring nobody in because and I don't know how he got there. And it's one of those deals where I'm like, okay, well, I guess he moved legally to get to all those spots. Because like I said, it was just a blink of the eye. But then, of course, next game, when it comes time for me to bring people on, or when I'm the German and I'm like, okay, well, I did. I was able to pretty well shut the guy up. It was a good move. If you could break through here and get guys along here, you could just cut off the replacements, and they got nothing to bring on. As a matter of fact, in that game, that guy almost, since I couldn't bring on no replacements, I think he literally wiped off all my units from the board. It was a pretty big butt kicking. So consequently, on my game, when I had it like this, the guy was telling me, well, no, see, I could bring guys on through here, that don't block them, and I wasn't going to raise a bunch of shit, and it was a battle for Moscow. So he's bringing these units on, and consequently doing this on his next turn. When he gets more reinforcements, the next thing he's got all these eights sitting here where they weren't legal to bring on, and actually, he took Moscow, so on and so forth. So that's what I was talking about. From next time I play Vassal, I'm going to have these guys just slow it down, stop. I want to see what they're moving, how they're moving. And it's another thing about these war games is the rules. You got to get the rules down. If the people don't know the rules, and if you've watched my videos playing people, it's just and this is a pretty basic game too, and they still didn't know the rules. So, kind of a bummer about the hobby, I guess. That's the only bad thing about it is getting rules right. And then you got these games where these rules are like novels. So, let's try to keep it simple. Try to have everybody on the same page, and it kind of takes the fun out of it. You don't want to play to win, and then when you ain't playing the game right, you're kind of like, what was that about? So, anyway, we'll get back to my game of Kingdom of Heaven. One more thing too, I wanted to kind of say after my thoughts on the tournament, everything went by real quick, but like I said, it was a great tournament. Had everything work as good as it could, but like if that would have been a pay per tournament, if I would have paid money, yeah, I would have raised a bunch of shit. It would have lasted like 5 minutes, but like I said, it was for fun and everything like that. But Those guys had a good tournament, and but another thing was, out of the 5 rounds, and I only got to play 4, and I don't think everybody had a bye. I was just thinking about that and looking at that. Why, unless that was the way the scoring was, the top scorers got to keep on playing, and the guys that let the bottom kind of had to skip games because maybe it was an uneven number of players. But out of the 5 games, some guys actually played 5, and a lot of guys were German. I think the Germans kind of have an advantage there because everybody was saying, "Oh, you'll get a chance to play both teams." I was out of the 4 games, I was the Russians 3 times. And I think the Germans actually have kind of an advantage. I'm not really sure because, like I said, some of those games, it was even, so it might be, just my thoughts. But yeah, I had to face the onslaught 3 times. It was only the Germans once, and then when I was the Germans, I wasn't allowed to bring units on. So the more I'm thinking about that tournament, I think it might have been more screwy than I was giving it credit for. But yeah, I couldn't play the last game. Not everybody had a bye. Why did I have to take a bye? Like I said, unless it was so I only got to play 4 games out of the 5, and I had to beat the Russians 3 times. Yeah, something tells me I never stood a chance.